coach. A coach. These last 2 weeks, we've been involved with many things in our world, our nation, our city. But the world is also focused on Paris 2024. There we see the Olympics almost complete with the marathon today and closing ceremonies. And these next few weeks for the Paralympics, for those who are involved in Special Olympics. And one thing that I think we've all noticed is the competition amongst nations, the individual talent that people have, but also off to the side, after one is on the high bar or has pole vaults or the basketball team, they embrace their coach. They embrace their coach. The coach is an important part of the celebration there because these are people who have mentored, who have pulled the best out of these athletes and are there at their side to give them encouragement and help. Yes, the coach. So important. It's interesting when we see the gold medals, bronze medals, and the silver medals, and the flags come down, the coaches are not there. But they should be there because they're an extremely important part of all of the efforts. This last week, the Democratic presumptive nominee named a vice president candidate. Now, he has been a National Guard man for 24 years. He's been a congressman, but he was a teacher for many years, and governor. Now, I'm not going to mention his name because Father Boland said never get political. But I have to tell you that members of his team, those working with the Democratic candidate, call him coach. They call him coach. And why? Because he's a high school football coach. That important role that many of you have had here at Our Lady of Perpetual Help or have had the experience of having in high school or beyond, who have brought you to a certain point, have mentored you and brought the best out of you. I celebrate Mass for the Bears. This coming Friday, I'll say Mass at 8:30 for the game. Probably Sunday, I'll say Mass for the game that they have on Sunday. On Saturday night at 8:30 down at the Marriott Hotel. I do it every once in a while. When they need me, I'll go up to Hallis Hall for Masses. Now, they have two celebrations going on each time they have a game, usually the night before. They have a room for the Baptist ministers to be with the team who are Baptist or who are non-Catholic, who want to go to that group. Then they have a Catholic priest for those who wish to come to the Catholic Mass. Now, if you look at the composition of the team, the Baptist minister has a crowded room, but the Catholic priest doesn't have as many. Who comes? The coaches. The coaches. The coaches come to the Mass. There they are, the defensive coach, lineman coach, the quarterback coach, and the coach himself, Matt Eberfuss, is there for the Mass. The experience that they have with the team to bring the very best out of them, to encourage them and give them the best service they can as coaches is so important to that effort of teamwork. Yes, coaching in all sorts of fields. But today, I'd like to speak to you about a very unique coach. Italian. He's never appeared on television, never appeared on radio, but many people know his name. The great coach. The great coach. He wasn't a priest, he was a deacon. I'm speaking about Francis of Assisi. Francis put Assisi on the map. Francis was there with those he gathered along with Clare to send religious men, religious women out into the world. It's the largest religious community in the world today, Franciscans. And Francis saw these people who had followed him, and then he sent them out in mission. And he said three things to them. First of all, he said, preach the gospel. Use words if you must. Then he said, do what is necessary. Then do what is possible. And soon you will be doing what is impossible. Lastly, he said, in the end, you'll have left is what you've given away. In the end, all you'll have left is what you've given away. Those three sentiments from the great coach, Francis, I think are helpful to us in our daily lives and in the world we live in, the nation we find ourselves, and our metropolitan areas here in Glenview in particular. Preach the gospel. Use words if you must. Each and every one of us know that words are shallow, but example, when someone does something, they put themselves to the line. Albert Schweitzer said, example is not the main way of influencing people, it's the only way of influencing people. What we say is not as important, surely, as what we do. Then he said, do what is necessary, then do what is possible, then do what is impossible. Stop and think of religious life and what people did, as Jesus said, go out and preach the gospel to all. We stop and think of universities, colleges, we think of hospitals and social service centers, things that the religious women and religious men built through the course of these last years. In a sense, they saw the needs. They did what was necessary. Then they did what is impossible. Impossible. You and I find ourselves in our work every day. We really can't do what we may want to do until we do what is necessary. Then find ourselves doing things sometimes that we never ever thought we would do. I'm sure as parents, you've stood in these pews and watched couples get married, your own children, and you say, how did they get to this point? Basically, you did what's necessary, and you raised young people to where they are this day. And then he said, in the end, all you'll have left is what you've given away. You know, you go to a hospital, go to Northwestern, you go to Lutheran General, you go North Shore, you go to other parts, and you see little infants, maybe grandchildren whom you see the first time, or as parents, the little babies. Now, immediately after birth, they're wrapped up in a papoose, like a papoose, in a blanket. The blanket is issued from the hospital. They live life, perhaps a long life. But no matter what, I have to tell you, no one gets out alive. No one gets out alive. And perhaps in hospice, perhaps at a nursing home, perhaps in a home or in a hospital, there they are in a gown, sleeping attire. Why? Because there's not much else that they need at that point. Then, from wrapped in a hospital gown, blanket, ultimately, all are put in a body bag to be brought to the funeral director. In the end, what do we have left? What can we take with us? What we've given away. People who are very poor but help others are really very rich because they have so much that they've given away. Yes, we hope to leave a trail of good as we move through this life. And yes, Francis of Assisi, not a priest, but a deacon, was a great coach to all those people in the 12th century and beyond whom he sent out in mission. But you and I are here not because of Francis, or not because of the vice presidential candidate, or not because of the coaches we've watched on television these last weeks, or those who are at Hallis Hall. We're here because of the great coach, Jesus Christ, who said, I am the bread of life. He or she who believes in me will have life eternal. What better words from the great coach of our lives?
Thank you for joining us today. Our digital ministry provides a valuable service to parishioners and visitors alike. Daily and Sunday Mass, funerals, weddings, and fireside chats, among other things, can be seen locally, throughout the country, and even the world, in real time or at one's convenience. If you would like to support this effort, please go to olphglenview.org. Click on the gold donate button and then the Sunday Giving icon to make a contribution on our secure online giving portal. We sincerely appreciate your past and ongoing support. Thank you for helping us continue this ministry. God bless.